What's up guys, thanks for tuning into the channel. So today we are going to be doing a little bit of fixing up of all the vinyl wrapping that is on the BMW S1000. The first time going around doing it, initially it looked pretty decent, but after a little bit of time and me thinking about it, it all needs to get redone. So we're gonna be making this a multi-part video in regards to just me going back through and just redoing all of the vinyl work on this BMW. Now, I am not an expert, so this is gonna be a little bit of trial and error trying to figure out the perfect way to get all of this vinyl looking really, really good. But in any case, this is part one of, again, a multi-part series, and we're gonna be looking at redoing the rear end of the BMW S1000. And yeah, I could have probably tried to do it a little bit better the first time around, but it was one of those, I had no idea how difficult this was going to be, and I wanted to get to a point where I at least had all the panels done and I could go ahead and take my time later on and try to get it absolutely perfect, at least to my standards. It's one of those, it looks good from like 5-10 feet away, but when you get really up close to it, you start noticing all the imperfections. But let me show you what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to like the rear, especially, which is what we're gonna be looking at fixing today. Again, looking at this rear, if you're looking at it from like this far, it doesn't look too bad, but once you start getting up close to it, you start seeing the imperfections in regards to all the bubbling that's happening in the little sections, in the creases right here, and a little bit of bubbling happening right here. It's one of those, it doesn't look too bad if you're far away, but once you get close up to it, it's just looking absolutely terrible. And probably a mix of me overstretching the material in a certain direction and maybe just not cleaning this section as best as I possibly could. I went over this section in particular a few times, but it's just not looking perfect. And then I wrapped this section actually as two pieces. I had a central section right here and then an outer section right here. I want to try to get it all done in one single piece so there's no seam lines. Like how you see right here, if you see a little bit of white, I don't know if it's getting caught in the camera, there is a seam line right here that is just getting exposed. I cut it pretty well when I did the actual initial cutting of this, but with the vinyl now settling and stuff, you're seeing like some of these seams kind of peel over kind of deal. And then like the things like the edges are just not really clean. You see little crease marks right here, or you see little fold marks right here that just doesn't look clean, at least not to my standards. This side is a little bit worse in regards to you see all the different little pieces right here, all the different wrinkles happening, going on and stuff. It didn't look so bad when I first initially did this, but as the vinyl has kind of started to settle, you're starting to see all of this stuff kind of come up and everything, and it just doesn't look good. I knew I was gonna have to redo it. I didn't think I was gonna have to redo it so quickly, but I wanted to have the same kind of finish and smoothness that you see like in my C806. Like all of these seams and everything, especially like going to the edges here, came out really, really good. And I want that same level that I did on the C806, because I wrapped that. I want that same kind of level on this BMW. So we're gonna redo these piece by piece, and we're gonna make it a multi-part video, like I said, and kind of go from there. So yeah, so that's the premise of what we're gonna be doing. And I'm not gonna like try to sugarcoat how this process is going to be. It's probably gonna take me a couple of times going through this. It is one of those, I want it to come out perfect, looking professional, and it just is not right now. Will I get it to be absolutely perfect? Probably not, just because of an experience level. This is the third time I've wrapped anything, and the third time wrapping is on a motorcycle, which is like expert level when it comes to trying to do any kind of vinyl wrapping. So I'm still a beginner trying to do this stuff. But yeah, in any case, let's go ahead, get this camera up on the tripod, get the piece, and we're gonna kind of just work through it and see how far we get with it.
A few moments later.
Alrighty, so quick update. I was actually going to skip this part of the video in regards to basically taking off the old vinyl, just because it's practically new. It was gonna be an easy just rip off and kind of just re-clean the surface and all that. But yeah, it turned into an issue. I am just kind of starting to realize I don't think that this piece here is from the OEM, mainly because if you look at it, after just doing a quick clean, yeah, the paint just started peeling up from here. And all the clear coat that was on here is just dulled and no longer like salvageable. And I think that's because originally this wasn't an OEM piece, because I would assume that the OEM paint would not be doing that. So I think that is part of the reason why it was lifting in the certain sections that it was lifting, was because the actual clear coat itself was coming apart from this piece. And so yeah, that's an interesting development, that now I'm going to have to redo this piece, but there's a possibility that it might not actually stick at all, and I might have to go a different direction. So yeah, anyways, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is a new thing that I just figured out, and I'm still going to attempt to re-vinyl that back section, but I might have to get like a whole new OEM piece to be able to redo that, or even just get an aftermarket piece that doesn't have the paint that's kind of just, you know, flaking off kind of deal. So in any case, okay, I'm gonna finish cleaning this spot, and then we're gonna come back and get the vinyl all ready to go, and then we're gonna set it up on the actual back piece. Alrighty guys, so we have finished reapplying the vinyl onto the rear side of the BMW S1000 and there's some pros and cons to it. The pros is that I was able to do it out of one piece this time as compared to having it done in two separate pieces, which made the job in some senses a little bit easier, but in other ways it made it more difficult. Another pro is that some of the spots that I originally had problems with are no longer a problem. It's not bubbling from those spots, so that's kind of good. But at the same time, getting into the cons, there's some new spots that, like, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't necessarily get it to work. So I give myself a solid B+ or so. Let me show you what I got going on. So again, looking at like sections like right here, I mean, those parts aren't bubbling anymore, but I still have some sections over in right here that are bubbling, no matter how hard I tried. And I mean, I made sure that these sections were really clean and everything. It's just because it's just such sharp lines, it just makes it really challenging to get this all done as one single piece. But overall, I mean, the edges are looking a lot better. They're a lot cleaner this time all around. So that was one of the big things that I wanted to make sure that I at least took my time with and made sure that the edges look a lot cleaner. So overall, this is looking a lot better of a back piece kind of deal. So yeah, so it's looking a lot better. I know this is not one of my typical videos and such. This is, again, like a part series of me just redoing the vinyl and seeing how it kind of goes. So I might still end up redoing it again, that rear piece, but for now, at least it's kind of semi-satisfactory. So I'm gonna just kind of go from there. So in any case, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're liking this video, please check out any of my other videos, especially the ones in this series. And yeah, we will see you later. So take care, guys.